Good morning. So here we are, still in lockdown, although it's been relaxed. And how are you all feeling? I've had a bit of a kind of retreat week, I suppose. Didn't do much of my physical practice. Kind of didn't have time, which seems a bit bizarre when I did really have time, but that's okay. I needed to let it rest this week. So sometimes the physical practice, which is obviously only an eighth of the 8 limbs of yoga. The 8 limbs are observances about ourselves, our personal social behaviours, the postures, the breathing, our sense withdrawal, so noticing how we are inside, concentrating, and then obviously meditating, and that then takes us to our samadhi, our bliss. So it doesn't always have to be a physical practice. Now obviously the physicality is a gateway to how we're feeling and what we need to access on the inside, as well as how we're behaving on the outside. So the physical practice is important, but sometimes when we're physically needing rest and digest to slow down and come back into ourself, it is important that we recognise that. But of course, what I've found, not having done my physical practice now, my body feels quite stodgy. And so when the energies then accumulate and get a little bit stagnant, then we need to sort of move those and get them moving. And that's where the physical practice helps us to release any stagnant energies, any accumulation of energies in our chakras and in our meridian lines, in our whole physicality. So there's getting a balance. So I'm all or nothing, and I need to keep that balance and get it in the middle of what I'm doing, so that I'm not doing nothing or I'm doing too much. And so getting that balance in the middle. So that's my sort of life lesson, is to keep it steady, so that I don't run out of stamina, but then I don't stagnate. So let's get into some physical work and do some moving and get this energy moving, because it gets me grumpy in the end. And these energies sort of stagnate, and then it starts to go into the mindset, and then we start to be self-critical, and so that's not very healthy. So let's get on the mat and see if we can move it out. So take a minute, whether seated, lying, standing, just take a minute into your mat and just really come down into yourself and see how you're feeling and what is going on for you. What is it? Like I just explained, how my energies have stagnated a little bit, so I intend to move them a little bit more and get the body to really move and get those energies to balance out again. So I've got to be careful that I don't do too much, that I don't expect to do my whole week's worth of physicality in one session. So that's going to be me reining in this all or nothing rule for me. So that's going to take me my awareness and bring my concentration inwardly, and notice if my ego mind is saying, no, do it all today, do all of your fitness and your strength work today. So find the breath, find how we are feeling, and if this resonates with you, just notice for yourself. And there isn't a right or a wrong, it's just being aware of where we're up to and how we're going to deal with these issues. It feels a bit heavy in my heart today. I've sort of let the social media also, when we are resting, of course we seek to do other things, and that tends to be outwardly rather than inwardly. So I have done a lot of my own work this week. I've bought myself a new toy. Fall over, very good at falling over. A singing bowl, which I've been playing with and doing some chanting, which is really, really lovely. So I have been doing other work, but it's just not been moving my body. So it's getting that balance again. So I do walk the dog every day, so there's some physicality. Very easy to get stagnant though. So let's just bring this into tabletop and get a little bit of movement along the spine. I'm a great believer in we need to mobilize the body and get it and access what we need to access. So take a moment to work out where the accumulation is, where the stagnant areas of the body are. And it feels a bit tight across my center of the upper back. So for me, I need to sort of free up that energy that's stagnating there. So just find this little bit of movement and open up the body using the breath, allow the breath just to be present, and your focus on your breath will give you ideas of what is going on. I could easily just lie on my mat today as well. I feel very, very sluggish. So I'm going to pick up a down dog. I'll do some down dog work today. Just pedal out the knees a little bit. Engage the core. Always experiment with where we're supporting the posture. So obviously the limbs on the floor are pushing away from gravity, but we need to support this area here, which is obviously floating up in the ethers. So take hold of your lower pelvic floor muscles and your lower belly muscles, your Mula and Uddiyana Bandha. But make sure you're not gripping too tight. It's about 20%, 25%, so that we can breathe through that. So if we're holding too tight, the energy can't move through it. Shoulders feel big. I'm going to drop this down to dolphin dog. Yuck. Who likes dolphin dog? Hands up. Not me. And just take some breath in this dolphin dog. I might move this forward in dolphin plank, so get the shoulders fired up a little bit. So move this forward and back. You might need to adjust your stance a little bit. Feel myself sticking my bottom up too much. So notice how that movement's presenting itself and how we can adjust that. Gosh, very, very sticky. And just allow, I'm going to hang out into a forearm plank just to open up. Might go for a little swim as well. Whoa. I'm going to drop the knee because obviously I'm not really warmed up yet. So drop the knee just for a little bit of support. And support is really important. And in these times of isolation, of lockdown, how do we feel supported? Where's our support system coming from? This can hang out for a moment or breath or two. You can elevate that leg too. Let's go for a little bit of activation in the glutes too. So just finding that little bit of openness. Make sure that the chin isn't jutting. My chin's a little bit of a jutter. A bit wobbly here too. And just bring that back. Forearm plank, that can be supported. Knees can be down. Just move that around a little bit. As we start to work the body, you'll notice things start to fire up. The energy starts to move around a little bit. Just going to take that to the other side. Again, that knee can be down for support. I would normally turn around, but I'm a bit lazy today. Just find that little bit of open and close. How does that feel? Ooh. You might want to bring it up. I'm stronger on this side, so this side feels it can take it on its own. And open that up through the shoulders. Make sure you're squeezing the shoulder blades a little bit in towards each other. Bring that back down into the forearm plank. Take it back to dolphin dog. So just walk the feet in a little bit. So open up those shoulders. Make sure the neck isn't pushing. Ooh, feel that through the hamstrings. Again, engage the bandhas. So if they've let go a little bit, they need to just support. Get back to the bandhas. So if, like me, you're holding it in the shoulders, a little bit of stagnant energy in those shoulders, I'm just trying to open them up a little bit. Drop the knees through, allow this a little bit of breath and release time. Breathing into the low belly. Letting my arms under my forehead. I tend to push my chin a little bit too much, so I'm going to support my head and just let that breathe. So when we start moving the body, that's when we start to accumulate and inquire information, how we want to move our bodies today. That feels better already. So let's pick it up. A little bit of tabletop, move the shoulders around a little bit. Open and close, thread needle. Definitely my shoulders today. It might be a shoulder workout today. And I can hang out up the top here. Ooh. Just opening up that twist. Notice where the tension is. Where can't we access that movement? Are you locking, pushing too hard? And then drop it back under. Just rest that through. Top arm can come through. And move that forward a little bit so the weight distribution isn't too bunched into the hips. Arm can open up, it can drop back a little bit. Just opening a twist. Ooh, lovely. Just freeing up. Any resistance. Bring that back to the top. Over the cat-cow. And to the other side. Oh, that's got to open up this way. So find that little bit of movement first. All the stillness. Just open and close. And just find that open space. Check the hips are parallel. So what tends to happen is we swing across the hip. And so we don't then get the true twist across the upper back here. So check, you're pushing equal into both knees. Push and ground into the heel of the hand on the floor. And then get this twist open through the chest. So we're trying to rotate through the waist, through and open the chest. And just find that my distributions move back into the feet a little bit. Sticky, sticky. And then drop that through, head to the floor. Drop the side of the head onto the floor. Move the weight around a little bit so that it's comfortable. And this top arm can then start to extend up or even open. Ooh. So just finding the breath once you're in the posture. If it's a little tight on the breath, are you going too deep too quickly? What can we adjust? What can we free up? This needs a little bit of support this side for me. So just finding that little bit of openness. If you look up to the ceiling without forcing the neck, that's just going to get that little bit deeper twist for you. Lovely. And bring that back down. Arm can go overhead. Bring it back up. Ooh, a little bit of movement. Shoulders. Let's bring it into a cobra or sphinx. So just take that forward and back a little bit. Open, close to the low back. Just opening, freeing up. Little twist position. So again, mobilizing into the body. Just to free up anything that needs freeing up. Shoulders. Make sure the elbows aren't locking. You don't want to sit up into the shoulders. Pull them down. Neck. Pick it up. Back to the breath. Ooh, very tight. So I'm going to do a floppy, floppy. One of my favourite moves. Just to free stuff up here. How does that feel? Good. So let's push it back through into tabletop, then down dog. So ground to the hands, lifting through. Be careful of the push back on the knee to down dog. The push is not backwards, but down to the floor. So if you're pushing backwards, you're going to lock out the knees too much. Also, we want to support in the quads, so make sure we're lifting a little bit in the quads, but don't try and push away from you that way. Allow the heels to yield to the floor, and then lift the sit bones. It's the sit bones which are going to find the length of the back of the body. And the same happens. Heel of the hand yields, elbows soften, so don't push your elbows forwards. Push down to the ground if you're going to push and resist against gravity. And then let the shoulders just relax a little bit. You don't want to push your chest towards your thighs. Sit bones lift. And find that breath. Notice where you're pushing too hard on the front or the back. Let's bring the right hand and pick up into the left ankle. If you want to do an alternative, you can take this down into a tabletop and find a bind into the opposite foot, the knee, and just find this can hold up into the back of the knee. That's very stodgy for me today. So you can hold the back of the knee, or you can hold a little lower. Feels very, very sticky. Things aren't working today. Not a surprise, really. So three-legged dog, you bring the feet together. So it's your centre. Obviously with a tripod, you need the weight distribution. So your feet together, extend the opposite leg. And again, don't push into the back of the knee. Use the pelvis to angle this rather than reaching up to the feet. Keep the hips as parallel as you can. Obviously they can open up a little bit, that goes scorpion's tail. But just keep this parallel. Just opens up the back of the support leg a little bit. Let's bend that leg. Bring the leg forwards into a warrior one. So bring that up. Oh, and just take a breath here. Loosen off the neck. I'm a little bit unstable. Loosen off the neck. Ground into the heels. Gosh, I'm really wobbly. Really, really wobbly. So I'm just going to bring my gaze forward. Can't reach it up today. And just find that stability. Find that rooting down into the feet. I was upside down for a long time. And just find that breath. Allow this to settle. It can stay as long as it needs to. We don't need to rush. And just let this adjust. Hips forward. Weight into the front heel. Weight into the back foot equal. Cross to the ball of the foot. And then drop the arms back down. Let's step that back into down dog. If you need more of a rest, take it down to child pose or tabletop. Just let this settle. Find the breath, find that equal measure again between forelimbs and then sit bones lift. Notice what's happening in the middle of the body. Where are you not supported? Where does it feel it's sinking? And where do you feel you're pushing too hard? Now reportedly down dog is a resting posture. So if it's not resting for you yet, find the child pose to rest. Bring the feet together again, so find that tripod and extend the other leg into three-legged dog. So again, check your weight distribution. Notice how this is feeling. Are the hips still facing the same direction or have you hitched open one? So just allow that a little bit of breath. Find the adjustments that you need. So how does this feel? This is tight on this right hip for me, so I'm pushing a little bit too hard. So just find a little bit of yielding without collapsing. Use the core banders just to engage. And then bring that leg forwards. Step it forward, it doesn't have to reach all the way. And bring that up slowly. Slowly this time, not too fast. Into warrior one. So again, if your gaze needs to be forward, let it be forward. And just find weight into the front heel, weight across the ball of the back foot, hips facing forwards, and just find that breath. Warrior one. We don't need to reach too high. So let the shoulders just be in a comfortable position. If your neck's a bit sore, just release it off. And drop the hands back down. Step it back to the down dog. Equal weight between 4 limbs. Lift through the sit bones. Just allow that some breath. For me, it's neck and shoulders, so just check. Neck and shoulders, are they pushing too far? Do they need to yield off a little bit? Remember, don't push back into those knees. Let the heels yield down. Lift up through the quads and then lift the sit bones a little higher. Let's just counterpose into the hips. So just bring it forward through the plank. You can go low plank or drop it over into Cobra Sphinx or up dog or the seal. Seal is a little bit less severe because the arms are a little bit further away from you. And just open up across the chest. Gaze point either forwards or up. Just check your grounding through the whole of the palm, not just on the little finger side. And just drop that down into a little bit of floppy. Obviously just checking where your furniture is. Don't kick anything. And just find that little bit of letting go, a little bit of breath. Just to let that rest again. Hands under the shoulders, pushing it back through to, let's go for a child pose just to open up the back a little bit. Good. And pick it back up into the down dog. Don't forget you can stay at tabletop. Tabletop is a very good alternative. Gently slide it back. So pushing into the heel of the hands. Let the heels yield. Don't forget you can bend your knees if your hamstrings are a little bit tight. And then move through the sit bones. There's the sit bones which are going to lengthen the back of the legs. And allow then the shoulders to move forward a little bit deeper. You don't push with your shoulders. Just let this happen in its own time. Let's see if we can pick up that bind now. See if that's gone a little easier. So finding that little twist position. Gaze point underneath the armpit. And just holding back at the ankle or the calf. Check your weight is equal between both feet. Hands are slipping a little bit. Changing sides. Pick up the bind again. Don't forget this can be done on tabletop. Excuse me. And just find again the stability. So anything that's challenging your balance, check where the weight distribution is and where we can adjust it. Oh, it's a little tough today. And just come back to the dog. Now this time, not a favourite, bring the feet together, extended three-legged dog, and bring the leg out to the side. So it's coming in line with the hip. You can bend and soften off the knee so it becomes a bit more of a dog cocking its leg position. And check that the weight is still equal between the 3 limbs. It's a nasty one. I'll drop it back down. Just a breath or two. I'm going to have to move away from my sofa for this side. Extend the leg up and drop it out to the side so that you, I'm going to give you, I think, a front view for this one. So, leg out to the side, his knees facing forward. Again, we'll check the weight distribution. We want it equal between the hands and the back foot. Woo, and drop it back through. You'll feel that in your bottom. Alright, let's just drop the knees, shoulders, right, a little release. Just sit back into hero. We'll take it down to child pose. Interlace the hands. Just open the chest. And just squeeze shoulder blades together. Get that stretch across the front of the body. And just open up the pecs, which might have been working, and the shoulders a little bit hard in those dogs. And just circle. Oh, neck releases. Circles. Lovely. And just make sure everything feels okay. Into child pose. Just allow that some breath. And then pick it up again. We won't spend long again in this down dog. And pick it up. Three-legged dog again. I'm going to take the right leg. It doesn't matter which one you do both. And if you want to, this time you push back into the back heel and bring it into a two-legged dog. And just find that little point of challenge. Finding the breath. This can be extended tabletop, so you don't need to be up in the dog. And just drop the hand down. Bring this top leg forwards. And just find a triangle and a revolved triangle. So, same hand to foot or floor. If you've got a block close by, you may use your blocks. I did mine. The block, you can use your block just to give you that open place. So if you need a block, use a block please, or a book, even a cushion. Hand to foot, and I like the hand to foot because it grounds into the heel, and this is where we want to make sure the weight is back on the heel. Be careful of this straight leg dropping into that back of the knee, so keep it pliable. We don't want to lock out the joints. Arm can extend. Gaze point can be forwards, down, or if you're feeling stable, up to your thumb. And just find that breath. Engage the core a little bit here. So this is unsupported, so make sure we are secure. Lovely. Just extend the arm through, just find that little bit of stretch to the side of the body. And drop the hand down to the floor. Pyramid, try into a little bit of a hamstring stretch. Again, use the blocks if you need to. Just get this little wiggle if it's feeling a little grumpy on the hamstrings. Soften its front knee if it needs to. And this can stay supported. I'm going to stretch it forward a little bit so I get a little bit more depth into those hamstrings. Yowza! Ooh. And just find the breath. Bring the hands back. Again, use a block if you need to. Revolve triangle. Block can be on the outside edge or it can be on the inside edge. Opposite hand. So left hand is going to come round. Right arm is going to extend or stay in the low back. So check what's happening around the pelvic area. Adjust your stance if you need to. Push down into the floor, into the hand to open up the chest. Ooh, I'm so wobbly today. And come back to the breath. And just drop that arm down. Release out any blocks. Back to three-legged dog, because this will just need to release open the hip flexor. It's quite a deep stretch. Scorpion's tail, you drop the heel towards the bottom and then you open the twist using the pelvis just to release out hip flexors, groin. Just let that breathe. And then turn it back round. Very slowly release it down. You stay in down dog, or I'm going to bring it forward. Cobra Sphinx or up dog. And just let that, or seal. So open the front of the body. And a little bit of a floppy, just to let that all go. And we do need to do the other leg. That was a little hard work today. Let's take this back into get our down dog. So pick it up again. Lots of down dogs today. Obviously need to be upside down today. So bring it up into your three-legged again. Opposite leg this time. I'm going to take it out to the side, I can't remember. And just let that breathe again. And then bring that leg forwards into your triangle. So, left leg forward, left hand to the foot. Right arm opens this time. You can keep the arm down by the side. Push down into that heel. So get the gravity, work with it. Push down and then extend and open the body. Find the breath. Gaze point up to the thumb, in front, or down to the foot. That'll give you some indication. I tend to push my elbows out a little bit. So checking, where are you grounded? Where are you supported? This should be in the core. So hanging, not hanging, pulling up into low belly. Find the breath. Extend that arm away. Just find a little bit of length down the side of the body. And then drop the arm down. Adjust the hips forward so they're facing down towards the floor pyramid. Little wiggles if you need to. Adjust your stance if you need to. I'm going to bring the fingertips forward a little bit. You place the hands wherever is comfortable for you. Moving through those sit bones. Find the breath. And just release that up a little bit. Use your block for revolved triangle if you need to. It's quite a deep posture. And make sure the hips stay facing forward, and start to revolve through the chest and bring the arm up when you're ready, and just find that breath. Hand can rest to the low back. It does not have to extend up if you're finding this is just a little bit cramped. Then do adjust it for your own level. Gaze point, which will challenge your balance, is up to the thumb, but you can face it forwards or down. Pushing that heel of the hand away to open up the chest. And just drop that arm back down. Release out the block. Woo. Step it back into down dog. Just wiggle it out a little bit. Release that up just to release the hip out. Drop the heel back, open the hips, so keep the grounded foot, knee facing forwards, and just let your scorpion's tail open up your hip area. And slowly bring that back round, drop the foot down, move it forward to Cobra or Sphinx, Seal. So a little bit of space. I'm taking in the Seal today. Just let that breathe. And drop it down. A little bit of floppy. And just to bring it down to a smoother breath, drop the feet open to crocodile. Do crocodile breath, some of my favourites. As you're in your tummy, hold into the outside edge of the arm, drop the forehead down. If you want to bring that a little higher so the chest is off the floor, and take about half a dozen or as many as you need to deep belly breaths. And just letting all of this now open up, bringing you back down into parasympathetic nervous system, so rest and digest, letting it just soften down. And just move the arms away, let that settle back down. And we'll just do the frog. So open up the quads. Let's take hold of one or both feet. Doesn't matter how you do it. Push the top of the hip into the floor. This is really important to ground the hip. And then push your knees away. That's going to give you your quad stretch. Hamstrings do not need to be active here. If you're pushing your hamstrings, your feet will move away from the bottom. So bring the feet closer to your bottom. And just open up your quads. Lovely. Lovely. And just allow that to breathe. Let it go. Oh, actually, no, I think I'll just do a back bend. So, holding into the heel, so the ankle, Push the knees into the floor just to release up the upper back. That might be enough for you. Stay there if that's enough. Push the hip into the top of the floor and then start to extend the legs into your bow, half bow. And slowly let that release, a little bit of floppy. Or just let it rest in stillness. And then bring that back to the child pose. Just allow breath here. And if your back needs a little bit of a release, do the rabbit. Hold the heels or the floor. And just round up the back. Just drop back to child pose. And slowly come back up. Swing the legs around. Give yourself a cosmic egg hug. Just like this. Settle now. We'll do just a shoulder stand or a bridge to finish. We're just letting those energies ground back down. So before we go back upside down, lots of upside down today. Just check your back is okay, so if it is a bit sticky, give us a little bit of movement before you ask it to do any more. And then if you want to finish with the bridge position, hips come up, and you hang it here, or the arms can go overhead, or you can even support your bridge with your arms. Be careful of your wrists though. And just bring your hands underneath your sacrum, your lower back. And you just allow this to then be supported. Be careful of the elbows too, sometimes arms are too long. So if you want to stay here, this is a really nice supported bridge. Or you can use books, blocks and cushions. And just let that breathing open. And check where you're gripping. Or you can do the shoulder stand. You do a combination of both if you don't want to hold them for too long. Bring the hips all the way up. Release the shoulders underneath you. Make sure your neck is okay. And just start to work your legs a little higher. And then find the breath. Legs can then drop overhead. You can hang out there longer if you want to. Halasana. And then you drop the knees to the forehead. Drop the knees open into ear pressure pose. then slowly undo that. Try and control the down, so you don't just lose and flop. And just bring that into a hug. And we'll do the fish just to counter pose. Shoulder stand. So bringing the elbows up onto the elbows, legs can extend out or cross-legged or lotus, and just allow the head to drop back and just open up the front of the chest and the throat and find the breath. Gently release neck and shoulders. Undo the legs, just do a little twist position. Roll the knees over to one side. Just let that open the back. And cross the legs over if you prefer the bind. And just let that breathe. Change sides, just crossing the leg over the other side, or keep the legs uncrossed and just let that roll over to the other side. Just let the twist open up spine. Let it fully yield. We don't need to push or pull. Use gravity. And then undo the legs. Bring that back. And just check your back is okay. You can do some little movements. You can hug it off a little bit, roll it around a little bit, and just then get ready for your Shavasana. So you want your 5-minute Shavasana, so let yourself lie down and always tune into the breath from the tip of the nose down to the belly. And just let the body, do a full body scan. Notice where the tingly areas are in the body. I can feel it all around through my thighs and hips. A little bit across my shoulders and my upper back, which is good because that was tight. And just let us breathe and really let the body come down, down into the floor. And we don't need to push or pull, we don't need to support, the floor will support you. And really let this soften down. So where you've used all the yang energy, you've got the muscles moving, we want to just let them settle back down. We want to bring that balance back to not too much doing, not enough doing. So we just want to bring that back. We've done the doing, now it's time to do nothing, to be. And you can stay here for as long as you need it. That can go into full meditation if you prefer. I'm just going to close the video off. So you bring it back when you're ready. And you bring it back to your seated position, and you just take a moment in your seated position just to let this ground back down. So obviously when we've let go, when we've gone into parasympathetic nervous system, we're very relaxed, we just need to bring it chance to get the energies moving again. Focus on the breath, bring that inhale down to the belly, and then exhale back from the belly and out. And just allow this to settle into the breath. Mindful breathing. Mindful of your body, how you're using your body, how you're sitting. Mindful what your head is saying. And just close it into the heart. Let's come back to your heart space. Take gratitude. Gratitude for the practice and what it shows and teaches us. Practice teaches me what I need to see, what I need to feel, what I need to let go of. And I extend my gratitude out, not only to myself, my yoga practice, but to everyone else. It seems a long time, people, but stay safe, stay alert. Keep your awareness, keep your focus. Notice how you're feeling. Notice how other people are making you feel. And just stay true and authentic to yourself. Don't be pushed and pulled by other people's opinions and ideals. And I hope to see you physically soon again, but who knows. I thank you. And I thank you. I thank you. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. Take care. Let me know if I can help you with anything. I need some communication from you people. Come and talk to me. Bye-bye.